about to ask you questions about youth marketing and how it affects the youth psychologically and sometimes even emotionally.
Okay.
All right, let's begin. My first question is, what is your point of view on youth marketing?
Can you explain what youth marketing is, just to have a better
It's
understanding? Or what do you mean by youth marketing?
you know how there's television advertisements used directly, like aimed at teenagers, and how they use different tactics to lure the teenage to buy certain product, or you make them want things more. And
Well, I think, and specifically in what population, like the Latino population, or
I say the teenagers in general.
teenagers in general?
Yeah.
Um, well, there's different niches in terms of marketing. I feel like they market different um, products to different populations differently, and like they don't cater to, let's say, Latino youth the same way they would cater to African American youth or to even Asian youth, right? So knowing that the Latino and African American youth are the biggest consumers of media in the U.S., they tend to target a lot of products to them via Facebook, via magazines, internet, right? All those websites that teenagers tend to utilize on the daily. Um, they tend to pretty much advertise their products there.
Yeah.
Also radio, right?
Um, how do you influence media on youth?
I don't. Well, can you repeat that question?
Like, how do you influence media on youth? Like, media, as this is part media, and it's like, do you use any? How do you say this? Like, luring them into wanting to work with media and.
I think the interest is there for youth, because we get this glamour thing, right, that revolves around media and how like people are portrayed in certain characters or in certain situations, but we don't influence the media on the youth. The youth already have an interest in it. So what we do is we kind of break down their media components, right? Um, we talk about the subliminal messages that sometimes are embedded within advertisements, right? We do a whole like curriculum that breaks down um, media consumption and the way that we use it on the daily, um, or how youth use it on the daily, per se. So we really don't influence them. What we do, I think our goal is to have youth think of media in a different way, right? And to use it to talk about issues that they're interested in, right? Because we all like have issues that we want to address, and what better way to use media as a sort of like putting it out there?
Yeah. Do you think it's reasonable to put on all advertisements that are aimed at kids while there are cartoons on TV, dealing with television advertisements?
Right. I think there's a ban in it actually, right?
Yeah.
They can't advertise any more toys during
Like
during
more Saturday
cartoons
yeah.
and all that. Yeah, I thought that feeds into the sort of like culture that we live in, right? Whereas to consume and consume.
Now, if you're responsible for creating advertisements, like if you were an advertisement facilitator, would you want to make ads that would be aimed directly at teenagers, or would you work your way around to?
Sure. I think I would create more public service announcements, PSAs, right? I try to not buy so much into the consumerist culture or consumerism. I would definitely want to have commercials that are directed towards youth, but with messages of like how to issues that are important to them. And I wouldn't be the one directing them or making them. I feel like I would definitely like have youth participation as much as possible.
Okay. If there was anything you can do to change the way youth marketing happens, what would it be?
Have youth make media. I mean, who better understands the culture than youth themselves, right? Um, and if, in my opinion, things, or not things, but like people are relate to things better when you know that that's the certain population that they're, catering to.
Is there a possible solution that you think can decrease the amount of ads that are shown aimed directly at the youth?
Youth involvement.
Hmm.
I think that's what it is. If youth want to see more of what affects them on their daily life, I think there needs to be more youth created work that is reflective of their culture and not what the mainstream media wants them to to be or to be looked as. Um, I don't know if that's a solution, but I think that's maybe a possibility to where to start.
That's good. Now one last question. Me and my teammates are planning to um, sort of present this to Ricardo Munoz, our district officer, to bring this issue up and like show it out publicly. And one question is, um, think of your opinion. Would you support me and my team if we took action upon this issue?
Yes, of course. I mean, I say this in the classroom. I grew up in Little Village. I am a member of this community. I still consider myself a member of this community, even though I don't live here anymore. But growing up here, I know that there's a lack of art programming. A lot of that, right? A lot of youth involvement in such programs that would definitely decrease some of the violence that we see around our neighborhood. But we would definitely benefit from having more art programs around the Little Village neighborhood. So we wouldn't have to travel to Poston or to downtown, right, to seek these opportunities. They should be here in the neighborhood.
Yeah.